Hi guys, good morning. The last few days of recording I messed up a little bit with the ordering and timing and stuff, but what I'm showing you today is basically the second half of the video I intended to make yesterday that ran on a bit too long. After that stuff I went and I progressed on the battle screen, so I'm going to show the final episode of battle screen work for a little bit, because this will be 4 episodes in a row of that. I'll probably move on to some artsy stuff for the next video, but for this one, it's just more progress on the battle screen stuff. I hope you enjoy. Peace. Okay, I'm back, boys. Here we go. 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 Oh, I actually forgot. I was meant to. Oh, you can see the first thing you'll see is the boom. There's like a little preamble before the battle starts where it blinks a few times and it's exclamation marks. It's all going too fast. Stop, 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 stop. Yeah, I was meant to speed that up, so that was very slow, but there's kind of like a preamble before the battle starts, where it blinks a few times. I all died. That all happened too fast. I couldn't even commentate what was happening, so I'm going to run it again. Obviously that's incomplete. The battle kind of after the blinking, it still jumps in suddenly, but that's alright. Made the enemies hit really hard, and well, the enemies hit at all now. But the last thing I was doing is I was testing what happens when the player party's wiped, so everyone hits 50s now, which is well enough to take down everyone. And I was just making sure, do they target alright, and they seem to. They're not attacking players that are already dead, or the game's not crashing because it's an invalid target, all of that. And as soon as there's no more targets, then the game pronounces you as lost, which currently handles the same way as if you'd won the fight, except they don't dance. Ideally you'd have some game over screening and you probably wouldn't come back as ghosts. So what happens if I go into another fight? See, they're still technically there, they just don't draw. Ooh, I actually think it'll just hold like this. So yeah, obviously if you die you'd return to some point. I don't think I will do the super classic where you just have to load from a previous save, but you'll at least go back to some point of healing and your guys will be healed up or something. Yeah, so the enemies don't attack here because one of their requirements to actually attack is that there is a target to attack, so otherwise it'll just hold their turn as though they are waiting for a target to come alive. And the battle is never pronounced ended, because only after a command is used that the battle actually does a check to see if it should still be in a battle or not. So you get this nice little limbo here. Yeah, so that was the main thing I was doing, is getting the enemies to work. But yeah, with the player attacks working and the enemy attacks working and all of that stuff, we're coming close to actually having a game. It just lacks the variety, If I threw in some different enemies, different commands, maybe get the MP stuff working as well, then we'd actually be getting closer to having something that's playable and something that's fun. We've almost laid that fundamental groundwork, at least partially anyway. I'm not completely set on how the combat will play out later on. We can always make changes. The important thing is that right now it seems pretty stable. I'm not getting any crashes or anything. Everything is still all the commands are highly customizable. I haven't hard coded myself into a corner or anything yet, so it's looking like quite a nice base to expand on. No, dude. No, I'm stuck. Well, the run was too good as it was. Oh, and then I get kicked out. If you didn't see what that just happened, there is the character who was targeting their next attack on an enemy. I got stuck. It didn't even let me select the attack because I guess the attack was invalidated when I couldn't get a valid source. Dang. Okay. So what that means is I need more checks everywhere, validity checks non-stop. Damn. Here we go, I'm just sneaking that bad boy in right here. So the battle state is target, and this is happening constantly, so it's not behind a key press or anything. No, that's not an end, that's a, excuse me, or my keyboard does this thing where occasionally it bugs out and it swaps the keyboard layout to the European layout, which messes up with my keys. So for example, instead of the tilde key, which is the little squiggly line that's usually next to the 1 key, it does this bizarre looking thing, and I think, how do I get the euro? Yeah, instead of like commas, I mean punctuation marks, I get like, it moves the ands, the ampersands, yeah, and those are swapped. It's really annoying. And so I actually don't know what well, I found where my tilde is, but that's where the long or thing's meant to be, but I don't have it, and I won't fix till I restart my computer. It doesn't matter if I go to my operating system settings and change it, just ignores it until I restart. But this is the power of Game Maker, people, right here. Is you can literally use the word or and. Damn. So Game Maker wins again. Take that, Unity. Usually not good practice to uncopy and paste chunks of code like this, but I will go back in my own time, and once I get this solution working and it's all running fine, I can go back and shorten things. Actually, that is not right. Because if it fails to exist and I do anything else, my game will not like me. So if it exists but it's dead, then I will consume its turn and move on. So it basically does everything except add the spell to the stack. We'll give this a run, see how we did. Ding ding ding, slightly faster. I'll hover my attack. That looked more correct to me. I just realized it attacks the same every time. And I know why that is, because I haven't randomized the seed. But I don't think I want to do that just yet. Yeah, in the final production with Game Maker, they actually sneaked this one in under my nose actually. I didn't used to work like this. I think either 8.1 or Studio added this. But it uses a constant seed, a random seed, which means any chance-based actions when you run the game, you'll get the same result every single time, unless you either call randomize like that to get a random seed, or you give it a seed. But for testing, I'm pretty happy for it to be the same one. But progress incoming, fellas, brace yourselves. Let's get into battle. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. How do you guys like that? A little bit of a transition now. Pretty basic, probably as basic as it gets almost, but yeah, just add that little bit of spice to it. I think that's good. I've lowered the power again, so I don't just instantly get creamed as soon as I enter a battle. Yeah, very cool. I definitely want proper death animation, have the enemies dematerialize, some Thanos clicking of the fingers, I don't feel so good kind of action. But yeah, take these guys out. Woo, spinning. And then it just slaps you back. Pretty anticlimactic. But I could probably pretty easily do a reverse phase very quickly to show you how I achieved that. It's very simple. There's a specific reason I want to show you why, because you would have noticed previously in my big code segments, the enemy spells and stuff, I actually use these massive if statements, and here you can see for my states I'm using lots of if. And so some people might wise up to it and be like, why don't you use switch statements? I thought those were the ideal for handling big binary trees like this. And you're probably right. You see I'm using a switch here, so this is my little proof. I don't want to pop off like Yandere Dev and then see a bunch of videos criticizing my big if statement trees instead of using switch statements, which to be honest I think is a silly argument anyway. I think those are very inconsequential, and they definitely don't have a performance difference. Pretty sure the compiler treats them identically. Anyway, mini rant over. So I'm using a little bit of a switch here, but then when I'm actually drawing the states, which is in our main drawer, which is the drawer for drawing on top of everything. Obviously we want our screen wipe to prioritize itself over everything. You can see all these, just draw rectangle colors. It basically just runs through a bunch of states when a battle starts, right? Before we actually get into the battle, and it has its set of states, we have a set of states for starting the battle, where it starts at battle start.start, and then it goes to close, which is the curtains closing. Essentially, you could call it the screen wipe out, and then it holds on the black for a bit, and then it opens up again. And then This left stuff is all just the drawing of it, and this right is handles some other stuff like when we can start inputting actions, because technically the battle starts after the screen closes, but we don't actually want to allow the battle to progress at that point, so there's another battle start ticking property that we don't set until after the whole starting animation is done. You can see like with this first case that I put it all on one line. It's like the case, the body of code to execute, and then the break. Typically I like to keep it like that. I like using switch statements when I can just constrain everything to one line, so it's great for if I have lots of like case, and say I had 20 different states and they all just ran a corresponding script. I like that, it looks nice to me. As soon as I start putting big bodies of code into these things, I just like to use an if else if. Personally, I don't think it matters at all, but that's just like the way I like to format it. You'll see, if you ever see any of my big switch statements, Fantasy Reign had monstrous switch statements because I got like 40 or so abilities coded, and I had all this skill tree stuff, and that is a whopper of a code base, I'll tell you what. Something I'll probably crack open one day. Crack open a cold one with the fellas. But yeah, if I were to expand this anymore, I'd start putting braces in it, because to me, I like having it all spaced out with braces. You know, I was never one of the super cool kids who did their braces like this, where like the brace are on the same line there. Come on, what is that, guys? Get real, dude. Tabs over spaces every time, by the way. Yeah, so that was just a little tangent I went on. Yeah, I'm trying to keep these videos down to earth, you know, personal level right here. It's just me, you, and the game, you know. We're in it together, yeah. So they'll probably wrap that up. Yeah, I'll probably move away from the battle for a while now. I have to start doing some spell animations. It'd be cool before I start prototyping some spells, because otherwise all the extra abilities I add will just be the sword swiping again. I'd quite like to get just a bit of an idea of how the special effects will play out. And then I'll probably have to start doing some more UI stuff, because I'll want to look into doing menus and stuff as I start thinking ahead into item equiption and spell equiption and stuff like that, because that's stuff I'm really looking forward to. Customization stuff, that's what this game's going to be all about down the road. So thanks for watching, fellas. I do really appreciate all the likes and comments I get. I appreciate the subscribes as well, but it's actually hard to notice. It's been hard to notice for a while actually, because I've got like 16,000 phantom subscribers all waiting for my next Realm of the Mad God video. But yeah, the Twitter follows and the likes and the comments, any signs of engagement, I really appreciate it. You know, it's quite scary I'm basically working on this stuff full time at the moment, and it really does feel validating to see people being engaged with the series and enjoying what I'm doing and giving feedback. I'll catch you guys on the flip side, dudes. I'm out. Goodbye.